Om Guru Vajradhar Sumatimu Nishasane Karma Uta Vardanya Shrivar Varsa Manya Sarva Siddhi Hum Om Guru Vajradhara Sumatimu Nishasane Karma Uta Vardanya Shrivar Varsa Manya Sarva Siddhi Hum Om Guru Vajradhar Sumatimu Nishasane Karma Uta Vardanya Shri Bhadra Varsa Manya Sarva Siddhi Hum Om Guru Vajradhar Sumatimu Nishasane Karma Uta Vardanya Shri Bhadra Varsa Manya Sarva Siddhi Hum Om Guru Vajradhar Sumatimu Nishasane Karma Uta Vardanya Shri Bhadra Varsa Manya Sarva Siddhi Hum Om Guru Vajradhar Sumatimu Nishasane Uta Vardanya Shri Bhadra Varsa Manya Sarva Siddhi Dagi Jetsun Lama Tuje Che Nyamda Dala Tuje Siksu So Gebe Shesan Dala Tendo So Uyon Sungi Nawa Tsedo So Tseji Nine Sowa Debe Tse Dechen Korlo Visu Lekshune Yila Sampe Dudun Malupa Gemel Hunge Drubra Jinge Lo Tsonyi Sodan Dikdun Shabetse Dinge Namge Yinsu Lekshune Labchen Tsonyi Yonsu Zopad Cheran Yidun Chamra Jinge Lo Chancho Parge Ninsen Tugun Tu Nyu Beme Sudru Lekshune Chancho Drube Gegen Kunshishi Dingen de la drubra jinge lo dage lo na chola chopada chemi samjurang imba shiv chedan tumbe dudu malupa bemel hunge drubra jinge lo dorna tingne tsera tamcheda techi pardu negav tamchetu rese kemne lama keleme Dala sisu so gongya drewe nyamda dachala jetsun lame tuche rabgong Kudan sunge nawa drame tu nyamsu nyome kesan topra sho kewa kundu yanda lama da drame chiki pela longche chin sada lamge yonde rabzon dorche change koba nyur toba sho pakyuke kudan dagi lu Pakyuke sundan dagi nga, pakyuke tukdan dagi, ten yerme chiktu jingi lo. Makyuke kudan dagi lo, makyuke sundan dagi nga, makyuke tukdan dagi, ten yerme chiktu jingi lo. Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Shakya Muni Swaha Mahamuni Shakyamuni Swaha Om Muni Mahamuni Shakya Munye Swaha. chodan soge chonam la chancho pardo dani kyapsu chi dagi jinso gibe sonam gi drola pinchira sange drupa reshu sange chodan soge chonam la chancho pardo dani kyapsu chi dagi jinso gibe sonam gi drola pinchira sange drupa reshu sange chodan soge chonam la chancho pardo dani kyapsu dagi chishe gibe sonam gi drola pinchira sange drupa reshu. In the Buddha, Dharma and Sangha, I take refuge until enlightenment. Through the practice of generosity and the other perfections, may I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. We have a very great quality in our mind. And I could say that most of Buddhist teachings on this more than 25 centuries, very often they were based in this quality that we have. We can call it in many different ways. We can use a modern term, which is the plasticity of the brain, or the fact that our mind is shapeable, our mind is flexible. In other words, as Shantideva said, there is nothing that is not easy once we get used to it. So basically, by repeating and repeating and repeating and repeating and repeating, things that originally were more difficult, they become more easy. Okay? Which means that we have a very strong ability of adaptation. And we use this ability for many things. For example, learning how to read and write, learning anything that we need to learn. How do we learn? By just looking at it once or by repetition? We learn by repetition, no? I think there are not so many of us that go to school. The teachers say A, B, C, D one time, and we look and we say, yes, I got it, thank you. We need to repeat it many times. And if we need to learn a skill of whatever type of job, whatever type of skill, physical skill, like even in a sport or anything, how do we learn it? By repeating it. Okay? If we want to learn how to play an instrument, how do we learn how to play the instrument? By repeating the movements again and again. And I need to play the piano. Here is this and that, and then and that. Repeat it, repeat it, repeat it, repeat it. Oh, one mistake. No, not like that. Repeat again, repeat again, repeat again. Slowly, slowly, it gets more and more easy, more and more natural. The point is that this ability that we have, we use it in many, many things. But very often we do not use it for one of the most important things, which is our own emotional states, our own more, let's say, little bit more deeper levels of ourselves. But actually, we can give an emotional education to ourselves. Okay? The problem is that normally we live life as if our inner state was a simple result of the world around us. Which means, I am happy today. Oh, why? Because this and that happened. I feel sad. Why? Because that other thing happened. I feel angry or jealous or envy or I have fear or whatever. Why do we have such emotions? Because this and that and that and that and that and that happened. So basically, we see our own emotional state as a result of the world that surrounds us. So what is the result of that? That in order to stop feeling one emotion or to have another emotion, what we try to do? Change the world. Okay? So if I want to feel happy, what I do? I go to look for things that make me happy. If I want to stop feeling sad or fear, what I go to do? I try to get away from the things that I see that makes me sad or makes me fear. That's what we do, right? That's normal. The problem is that if it worked, wonderful. But I think that most of the experience of all of us is that as we go along with our life, we will see that we try very, very often to change things. But the result is that finally we get back to the same point. I get away of the objects of fear, but fear is always there. I get away of the objects of jealousy, but in a way or another, jealousy is coming back. I get away of the objects of sadness and so on, but sadness is coming back. And like this, we can go on and on and on and on. So, the point is that our emotions can be taught. We can familiarize ourselves with it. And here we use the technique of meditation in the sense of familiarization. So the very basic principle is, in order for me to familiarize myself with something, I need to repeat that something again and again. Okay? For instance, if I want to learn how to catch my cup with closed eyes, it's not enough just to go and to learn where is the cup, it's in my right side, the height is more or less, and have the whole theory about it. It's useful, but it's not enough. I need to start moving my hand, and I will go, no. Okay, I got it. Then again, next time, no, a little bit more up. Okay, I got it. The next time, I have it easy. Then the more I do, the more I will get it without needing to look at it. Okay? But it's a matter of training, it's a matter of repetition, not of the concept of the actual action or the actual feeling of the actual thing I want to familiarize myself with. Okay? So how do we use this for emotionally, let's say? There is a state of mind, feeling that I want to develop. Let's take, for instance, the one that we talked yesterday, recognizing the preciousness of this life. So we want to develop this joy with the sense of urgency, the joy of being alive with all these wonderful conditions, and the sense of urgency of I need to do something with this precious life. Okay? It's not a conceptual understanding. It is a feeling. It's something that we feel from within. So what do we want to get familiarized with? With the concept or with the feeling? With the feeling. Okay? So in order for me to get familiarized with the feeling, it's not enough just for me to think about the concept. I need to generate that feeling. So I need to self-induce myself into that feeling. How do I induce myself to generate that feeling? By using another aspect that we have, that we are extremely easily influenced. We can influence ourselves very easily, by others or by ourselves. So we can self-convince ourselves of many things. This remembers me, a friend of mine, this time I was in Brazil, she was telling me that she went to the house of a family member, and this person was very sick, actually still sick, so we dedicate order for her. But this lady was very sick, and then for 1 week, my friend just said, okay, I'm going to help you, because normally who is helping you is not there for 1 week time, so I'm going to do the service, which means like washing and helping to stand up and give the medicine and do all the service for the sick. No? And I just remembered, sorry, one small bracket. I remember one phrase that I saw the other day, and it just stuck to my mind. One phrase from a sutra of Buddha, in which Buddha said, those that do not serve the sick and the old do not serve me. So Buddha said, if you do not have respect, and if you don't care, if you are not serving and helping those that are old and those that are sick, it's just like if you are not serving me also. So it's like, okay, you can have all respect for me, the Buddha, but if you do not take care for the old and the sick, it's like not having respect for me in the same way. Anyhow, we go back to the example. So what happened is that when she arrived there to help this sick friend of her family member, she felt actually quite uncomfortable. And she wanted to run away and say, what am I doing here, you know? That's too difficult. I don't want to be here. And She felt very uncomfortable and she just wanted to run away. Then it's the moment she remembered the teachings and she said, no, I need to remember to have gratitude and I will start inverting my attitude. So she started to induce to herself in a more artificial way that she was the one that was grateful to being there. So she started thanking the sick person. Thank you that I can be here. I'm very grateful for that. Even though it was artificial, yes. Her true feeling was, I want to run away. But she started to induce herself into a different way, on the opposite direction. And what happened that she was saying the first days was really difficult. Then slowly it became a little bit less difficult. But then at a certain point, things just start running more naturally. And in the day that she needed to go away, suddenly she looked. She didn't want to go away. And she was happy doing what she was doing. And she was really feeling grateful. So what she was saying, wow, it really works, In the beginning, it was something just conceptual. Then slowly, as I induced myself, it became more and more natural, more and more spontaneous, until it was really true. So the point is that we can induce ourselves to positive feelings and emotions. We can induce ourselves by convincing ourselves positively. So we do that by reasoning, by examples, by visualizations. So we go around and then we have the whole reasoning. Why is this life precious? Oh, it's precious because it gives me the opportunity to develop my qualities and to eliminate my defilements. And it's so rare, this opportunity, because of this and that. I go through the whole process. So normally we do this by using two types of meditation. The first type of meditation is what we call in Tibetan Chegom. The second is Jogom, which means the analytical meditation and the single-pointed meditation. The analytical meditation is, sure, we need some time somehow. We can do as we are standing also, but the best is normally when we sit. We bring our mind to a state of calm as we breathe in, breathe out, and then we start analyzing. We start bringing the whole process. Why is this life precious? And we go through many points. This life is precious because it gives me the opportunity to practice the Dharma, to transform my mind, to accumulate merits, to generate all many qualities that I have, to abandon my defilements. By this way, I can assure that I have a good continuity after my own death, and I can really be of benefit for others, and so on. We can go through the whole process, okay? We find our own pathway of conviction. As we go through this analytical meditation, when do we conclude the analytical meditation? When we start feeling what we want to feel. When, by making the many examples and giving the many reasonings and so on, I get to a point in which I really feel, oh, this life is so precious, how beautiful, what a joy that I have that I'm here, and I need to make good use of it. But it's a feeling, it's not something conceptual. When I get that, then I concluded the analytical meditation, and then I do a single-pointed meditation on that state of feeling. It's not on a concept. It's more on our heart than in our head. Then we just focus on that state and remain in that state as long as we can. Okay? Next time, can we just regenerate this state again like this? No. We need to self-convince ourselves once again. So we go again, all the reasoning and the examples and so on. It will be easier. But it still takes some time. And then again we have the feeling and then we remain with it. The more we do, the shorter it will become, the easier it will become, until there is a point in which by just remembering the key point, then we can generate that feeling again. That's when we have concluded the process of meditation on that. Then we can go to the next step. Okay? The very important point that I want to bring here is that our point is not to meditate on the concept of the preciousness of this life. The concept is there in order to help us to induce ourselves into the sensation, the feeling, the emotion of the preciousness of this life. Once we get that feeling, that state of consciousness, that state of mind, then we say, okay, that's where I wanted to get, now I need to remain in it. Then I need to familiarize myself with it. But how I familiarize? By inducing myself to that. But it's just important to understand that what we need to meditate on is not the concept, is the feeling. It's like, how do we meditate on love? Not by about thinking about love, but about self-inducing ourselves into love and generating the feeling of love, and by that I familiarize myself with the feeling of love. Okay? So, this is something which is a very important point and not so obvious actually. Because very often people may think, oh, well, let's meditate about love, let's reflect about love. No. We need to induce ourselves to a state of love. And someone may say, oh, but that's artificial. Yes. We follow an artificial process, and that's very good, you know. That's how I can induce myself. Some people say, oh, we need to be always natural. Imagine what happens if everybody is totally natural and just do everything that comes to their mind. Better not. Instead, what we need to be is we need to be sincere. Yes. We need to be truly sincere. We don't need to fake things to ourselves and others. But inducing ourselves to a behavior or to a state of mind, this is not being fake. I understand that this is a better behavior, so I will induce myself to it. No? So somehow we generate something in an artificial way because not coming spontaneous, but it's truth. It's not fake what we do, what we develop. It's a true feeling. Okay? And once we develop this true feeling, we remain within it. And the more we do, the easier it will become. In the beginning, most probably, we just think about it, then it just remain concepts. We are not able to generate the feeling. Then we need to do again and again and again and again. And slowly we are able to generate that feeling. And then the more we do, the easier it will become. And it's also important for us to find our own way. Maybe one example is working for one person and it's not working for the other. Maybe the process of logic is working better in one way or not in another for each one of us. Okay. So what we have in the text here is where Pabongkha Rinpoche is sharing with us the process that he used for himself to generate these states of mind. What are the logics and the examples that he was using for himself, which do not necessarily need to be the ones that we will use for ourselves, okay? But we need to train ourselves by learning which are the best examples, which is the best logics that is working for us. And once we have it, then we need to repeat again and again. We generate that state of mind and we remain with it until it becomes totally spontaneous. In the moment that just by remembering the key point, that emotion, that a feeling comes back again, that's when we have realized that point. Okay? I think it's quite clear, right? Okay. I was thinking a little bit if we should go directly to this part of the text or if we should jump to the next part, which is about the preciousness of this life, and after explain, relying correctly upon the Guru. But finally I say, no, let's follow the order that is here. That is the correct order, actually. It's just because in our culture, very often, we don't know exactly what is a guru, we don't know exactly how to rely correctly upon the guru, and sometimes we may not understand really so well. So I just make a short introduction before reading the text. The place where we are right now, with the knowledge we have, with the experience we have, if we just stay by ourselves, we will remain where we are. In the sense that if we don't have someone that through an interaction with that someone, we understand something that before we could not understand, we remain where we are. So it is very important to have the interaction with someone that can help us to open our mind, to open our eyes, to see what before we could not see. Okay? And in this process, there are two fundamental aspects that we need to develop, which are called in Tibetan Tepa dan Jikpa, which means faith and fear, which the order of understanding is fear and faith. I don't like very much these words, but these are the ones that are being used. But the meaning is quite clear, actually, which is the following. Let's make the metaphor of going to the doctor, okay? Let's say I go to the doctor because I feel a bit sick, and I don't have trust in the doctor. And he gives me a medicine that is bitter. Will I take the medicine fully? No. Instead, if I have full trust in the doctor, will I take the medicine? Maybe. It depends if I really want to get cured. Because it may happen that I have full trust in the doctor and in the medicine, but I don't have that strong determination to get cured, and I feel that the process of the medicine is more difficult than the actual sickness. Then I just remain where I am. I see many doctors very often have this frustration because the patient come, have some pain, and then when they give some medicine, then the symptoms are gone, but then they don't continue the treatment. Now, I did this many times because I remember a few times I have some problems like saying the kidneys or this or that, then I go to the doctor, I have some pain here, then they give me some Tibetan medicine for that. This in Tibet happened a few times. Then I go, then I start feeling better, and then I have there the collection of medicines that have not finished. No? But it's not because I lack faith on the doctor. I lack trust on the doctor. I have full trust on the medicine and the doctor. It's I don't feel enough urgency to take the medicine. Okay? So this is when we do not have enough fear. If we are nearby, if I come and I see someone that has the same sickness I have in a very developed stage, then I can get fear. I say, oh, better I do something now because I don't want to get to that stage. Then I am more careful about it. Then I will take more the medicine. So the first step, which is the fear in the sense of wanting to avoid something, gives us the strength to do what is necessary to avoid that. Okay? So in other words, means in the moment that I truly develop the fear of samsara, then I will do what is necessary to avoid samsara. Otherwise, I like the doctor. He's nice, he's cute, he's a nice person. I know he's a good company. So I like being by the doctor. I go to see him, I pass some time with him. When I am not feeling so much nice, he gives me a nice word, he gives me something, I take a small pill, it makes me feel better. But I'm not truly following his advice 100%. Why? Because I don't feel the need. I don't feel the urgency really to get out of what the stage in which I am. So, it's not just a matter of having someone that can guide us correctly. We must feel the urgency, the need of getting where we need to get. I can have the best guide, but if I don't want to get anywhere, I can say to him, you look very nice and I like you. But I remain where I am. I'm not going to walk. It's tiring. Unless I really feel the need to do so. So to have fear, it's very important. Fear not in the sense of the emotion of being there with fear. Is to have the strong determination that I want to avoid this type of suffering. I don't want to get the pain of that sickness, so let me get the process of curing myself. That's very important. And in the moment I understand the relation between cause and effect, then better I change. It's like there are many studies that show very clearly the relation between the amount of sugar that we eat and cancer. Okay? And you see many people that they look at the studies, they say, oh, interesting, then they continue just eating sugar as they eat normally. And then you ask to them, do you want to get cancer? The answer is no. But And as long as you don't make the connection really between the two truly, you do not stop the cause because the taste is good. It's like when you take a person that has a strong addiction. When there is an addiction for something, even though I know that it is a poison, even though I know that it harms me, but the taste is really good. As long as I don't see that it's really harmful to myself, will I stop it? Most probably not. And when I really want to stop it, because I see, but I have no one that can guide me on the process to change my habit, it still is not easy. So we needed two things. We need to have the determination to change something, which is so-called fear. And then at the same time, we need to have someone that can help us on the process, and we need to have full trust. Hoping is the right person, guiding us on the right way. When we have that, then we need to have full trust. Otherwise, we are not going to take the medicine in the correct way. We are going to jump from one doctor to another, from one technique to another, and we will never fully follow any one of them, and then we will never get the true result. No? Even from the very physical point of view, I just remember now, there was a study about patients that were cured from cancer. And the study was, what did all the patients that were completely cured from cancer have in common? Okay? And they took patients that used the most different types of treatments. Complete different types of treatments, and they got completely cured from cancer. The only common thing that they found in all the patients that were cured was in the process of healing, they were completely convinced that that was the right treatment for them. So, even here, you can see the importance of faith. When we believe in something, it has such a strong power and impact in ourselves. So, based on that, when you talk about the Guru, to rely correctly upon the Guru is that only where I am, I need help. So I need to rely upon someone, and it's for my benefit, it's not for his benefit. The one that receives the benefit is not him, it's me. So, in order for me to be able to follow correctly the path, in able to develop the qualities, I must trust the one that is guiding me. But I must follow someone correct. Okay? So Pabongkha Rinpoche now introduce us to that. So let's see. This based on his words. Okay? Teyang, dak namru drubala tomar shenyen tempa shik kalchete. Se di lega tene, che chokpa la yang, lomgen shik goena. Tarpada tamche kimbe koban tu drubala, lama shik mebar kane yong. Teyang, kang jungjungi mi chokpar, senidan tempa shila tengo. Telang, tenzu tsushin tu chagode. Tempe peyon dichi lekso tamche, di la tene chung. Tenzu logna, dichi tamche tu pungshin. Lamgi tsawa chebar gyurwes, di la neden cha. Tempe peyon kyang. Donga gi lam yongzo la tribar nube, shenyen chokdan tena, niktu gi tsetunchi la sangye tobas. Kange chingi decheni cheso dans. Lam tumongwa kyangpara tribe gewe shenye la tenso checher chena teyang checher chena yang te tsökis nyewa taktu ngu tso lamne ton lamge tsechik la droba tabus. Mata gewa na chikdang gewa na chik tembe shenyen dan tekyang na chikpo te torlendang gewa te drubadang mi gewa ngarche la gyobadang chinche pongwa la trowa lenche mi chebar domba sola shukpe kyang te tsugi nyewa nyeluk nyurbules tön kanche kyang nyewa gewa tembe shedang tene matena jerin jerin to draw less
nyewe kap chungse yang chungse dayang Charles teyam rango gi yeche gi tebala ra luktes yeche mena gewe shenyen te sange ngo yiyans nyewe chinla mi jukpes tejen da lekar tabus rangi teba dan yeche jungna tameba shikle kyang chinlap checher gemo kisole ranre pepchun tabus rangi tebe chungchin rangi tebe chung chinchin lab rangi tebe jungchin chinlab ngebar nye wenkyang lam yongzo gyula kewala shenyen te yang kangjungi michokpars lam yongzo la tribara nyebe sinden shiko lama tsenyi dan denba shik loma teme nödang denba shiki tensu tsushin chena sangege koban che shindu nyurwa nge nyambako. Okay.
Furthermore, to achieve liberation, it is important to first rely on a virtuous spiritual friend. When we talk about spiritual friend, that's the word that is given for guru. The word guru literally means heavy. The translation to Tibetan is lama. La means high, ma means know, which means that there is known above. The meaning for that is not that the person is the one most superior to everything else. No, it means that from all the relations that we have in our life, father, mother, husband, wife, whatever, the most important, the one with the heaviest weight in our life, the superior, the most important relation is that with the spiritual guide. Because it's a relation that is based on aspects that transcend this life. It's a relation that is for something that goes much beyond our daily mundane aspects. So that's why it's the most important of all relations. That's why we use the word guru, which means heavy and superior. The word lama also in Tibetan, ma means mother, la means superior. So it's like the ultimate mother. And at the same time, la means also vital energy. Tibetan is a strange language. We can give many things from the same word. La means also vital energy. So it's the one that nourishes us with what is vital. That's also the meaning of lama. So here, another word that is used is our spiritual friend. So furthermore, to achieve liberation, to be free from samsara, from the cycle of suffering, it is important to first of all rely on a virtuous spiritual friend. This is because if one needs somebody to teach them even a mundane job which could be done by watching, then how could it be possible to progress towards liberation and the omniscient state without a guru? Even if we need to learn the most simple mundane things, do we need someone to teach us or not? Normally, yes. So what about developing our qualities on the path to enlightenment? Sure, we need someone to teach us, no? Moreover, it is not enough to just have anybody around who is available. One should instead rely upon somebody who is qualified. It's not that I take, okay, I need a guru. Okay, here you are, please come. Okay, I need a guru, you be my guru. We need someone that is qualified. It's like if I want to learn how to play the piano, can I get anybody to teach me? Or I need someone that knows how to play well the piano? I need someone that knows well. And here comes the responsibility of someone that is a spiritual guide. And normally said, one of the bigger responsibilities is because in the moment that we guide someone else, we can only guide that person to the level that we have already reached. Okay? From the other side, the faith is so important that there is the story of the disciple that he got realizations before his guru. And because he had so much faith on his guru, and he was able to get the realizations of liberation from samsara before his own guru. Then he came back to help his guru also. No? This is an exception, let's say. Normally, the guru can guide up to the level that he have reached. He cannot transmit something that he have not yet realized. Also because it's not a matter of only transmitting knowledge. It goes much beyond knowledge. So I can only guide up to where I have been.
I remember words of Kyabje Rinpoche, one of the gurus of Lama Ganchen, and he was giving teachings in the United States, and there were many geshes, many monks, lamas that were giving teachings in America, and he was very straightforward, so he was saying, be careful, you guys, There you are going around giving very high teachings up and down. Have you realized any of that? Because if you have not realized what you are teaching, if you do not at least really put them into practice, then it's just empty words that you are saying to people, So, in other words, we cannot just find anybody to be our guru. We need someone to guide us on our spiritual path, but we need to find the right person. In the past, the common time was 12 years of experience. Once we see someone that we think could be our guru, we should listen, we should look, we should experience for around 12 years. Then once we are sure, then we can fully rely upon the guru. Because it's not so easy really to rely upon someone, to have real faith, to have real trust. It's like this exercise that we throw ourselves and someone hold us. It's much more than that. Much, much more. And it's not obvious. So the 12 years is also the process of gradually learning to rely truly upon and developing real trust and faith. It's something that takes time. Okay? Furthermore, the manner of relying upon a virtual spiritual friend should also be followed properly. Once we find someone that is a correct person to guide us, we also need to follow in the correct way. We also need to rely upon that virtual spiritual friend in the correct way. Because, as for the benefits, all the good things of this and future lives come from proper reliance upon him or her. Which means all the qualities of this life and the next lives come by relying correctly upon the guru, him or her. Which means, basically, if I do not rely upon the guru, I remain exactly where I am. If I don't learn from others, I remain where I am. Otherwise, I can learn something. So what happens is that if I remain where I am, I'm not going to develop any special qualities. Instead, if one fails in the manner of relying upon the virtual spiritual friend, all one's present and future lives will be ruined. This is a bit of a strong, statement also. But what it's saying is that at the same time, if we break the bond with the guru, it's something very serious. If we develop this state of faith and commitment and trust, and suddenly for whatever reason we break it, it generates so much pain within. It generates such a difficult situation that it's so difficult to glue it again. It's very, very difficult to regenerate that same state again. It's not something obvious at all. So for that reason, we need to be really, really very, very careful to rely upon the guru very well. And once we do it, we cannot just break it. We really must keep it in a very pure way. As it can cut off the root of the path, one should be emphatically careful with the reliance upon a spiritual guide. It means if we cut the relation with the guru, if we break the relation with our guru, it's like cutting the root of our path to enlightenment. And this is something very, very serious. So we need to be very, very careful on how we rely upon our spiritual guide, how we relate to our spiritual guide. How from internally, I'm not talking about externally mainly, I'm talking from internally, how do we see how we relate? This is something that we need to be extremely careful in this manner. Okay? Okay. As for the benefits of proper reliance, if a supreme virtual spiritual friend who can guide us in the entirety of Sutra and Tantra is met, one could attain enlightenment within a short life of Kali Yuga, as the following verse says. O jewel-like Guru Vajra holder, out of whose kindness the state of great bliss is attained within a single moment, at your lotus feet I bow down. Which means if we are guided correctly, and at the same time we have the correct faith, then naturally this will bring us to have the correct results. Okay? If we have the full determination to follow the path, and we have someone that is truly guiding us correctly, then this will naturally bring us on the correct path. Okay? This is something that it's very clear for us. So, even if one relied with great devotion on a virtual spiritual friend who guided us on the common path alone, we would be that much closer to enlightenment, like the Bodhisattva Saddhaprarodita, which was Taktungu. His name was the one that was always crying, who progressed from the path of accumulation to the path of seeing within one lifetime. So basically what he's saying is that, sure, we need someone that guides us correctly on the path, but at the same time, if we find someone that doesn't have the ability to guide us on the whole path, what happens is it's still okay. If the person can guide us on us until a certain point of the path, that's already good enough. We can go until that point. As for example, there was this master called Taktungu, this bodhisattva, and he got his guru that could guide him only on the common path. The common path means the process of developing love towards oneself, renunciation, which means learning to abandon one's own negative actions and cultivating one's own positive actions. And by developing that, he could get up to a certain level. No? So, basically, what's it? So according as was with Bodhisattva Taktungu, he got his guru that guided him first up to a certain level, which was, as we call, the common path. The common path means the path that is within the Mahayana is common also with the Hinayana. That's why it's called the common path, which is the path of developing love towards oneself, which is the path of developing renunciation, which is recognizing the preciousness of this life and having the determination to abandon one's own negative actions and one's own defilements and so on. So even if someone can guide us not on the complete path, but on the first step of the path, that's already good enough. From that on, we can find someone else that guides us on the next step. So it's not that necessarily we need to find someone that guides us on the complete path. It's everything or nothing. We need to find someone that has better qualities than us. That's the minimum that we need. And then we need to follow on that. Okay? As it says here. Also, when meeting a virtuous spiritual friend who explains to us an ounce of one single virtue or non-virtue, even if we simply followed their words about adopting and forsaking, in other words, practicing virtue, regretting having committed non-virtues in the past, taking pleasure in abandoning them from now on, resolving not to repeat them again and so forth, we would be that much closer to enlightenment. The mode of being closer and faster is that whatever we do, it takes us closer compared to those who come late. Which means, even if I meet one person that is not the great Buddha realized being in front of me, but this person, in the interaction with that person, is able to open my mind a little bit more on what is virtue, which means what I need to cultivate and what I need to abandon, and open my mind to have a better understanding of reality. If this person just opened a little bit, and I truly followed that what I understood and I learned, that is already very much great. That is already bringing me more near to enlightenment. It's very similar like when we had in the Sutra of the Gandavihwa, which was taught by Buddha, and it has depicted in the Borobudur Mandala in Indonesia. There is 3 levels, I think, that have it's depicted this whole sutra. It's the story of one practitioner, and he goes to different gurus on his path to enlightenment. And he have a total of 50 gurus, from which half were men and half were women. And he goes to all the gurus and he receives many, many teachings, and each one of them is opening his mind and his heart to understand one part of the path. And it's not all of them formal teachers. Like not all of them are human. And it's like one of them is an earth goddess, for example. So the point is that one of them, for example, is a prostitute. So it's not like all of them formal gurus in the monastery that he's going there for teachings. He met one of them, and by saying one word, by showing one action, by doing something, he understood something of his own path. And by putting that into practice, he got to a next level. Okay? So anyone that teaches us even the slightest, smallest thing, if we are really open to it, and we really put it into practice, as it says, how do we put it into practice? It's very clear here. Let's say we learn about something that must be cultivated, or something that must be abandoned. Then, if we practice the virtue that we learned, we regret about the non-virtue that we learned. Okay, I learned that this is not good. Oh, I did it in the past. I'm sorry for what I did in the past. I will take pleasure in not doing it again in the future. And I have a commitment of avoiding it in the future. Or I do pleasure in to do this in the future, and I have a commitment to do it in the future. This alone will make us to become more near to the path, to enlightenment. Because enlightenment is not happening in one instant. It's a gradual process daily as we go on our path. And every small step that we do, we get more near. So what he's saying here also is that we should see as our guru, not only one main guru, but we should see as emanations of the same guru, as being of the same nature, everyone that guides us on the path to enlightenment. And even if we just learn one small thing, and we take it seriously into consideration, it will bring us more near to the path to enlightenment itself. Okay? This remembers me Saint Francis, when he was very, very sick by the end of his life, almost, and he was traveling on a donkey, because he was very, very sick. He could not walk, actually. And then the owner of the donkey, this man, and he came and he said to St. Francis, very simple man, he came and he said, oh, you should be very careful. No, he asked, aren't you the famous Francis that everybody's talking about? He said, yes. Oh, you should be very careful, huh? You should be very careful to act in accordance to what the expectations that people have about you, because people have big expectations on you. So you should act in accordance to the expectations they have on you. He could have said, who are you to be saying how I should act, no? But he just went down off the donkey, he put himself on his knees, and he said to think, I'm deeply grateful for your precious advice. Okay? So this is showing this, is recognizing the Guru on everyone that is giving us the correct advice. And having the humility to accept, it doesn't matter from where it comes. And if we are able to follow it correct, that small advice, that small opening of the mind, that's a part of the path to enlightenment. Okay? So, if we never meet a spiritual friend who teaches us virtue, we will never be further and further from enlightenment. Which means, if we never meet someone that guides us on the spiritual path, we will just get more and more far away from enlightenment. We will not get more near at all. Because we will just continue to do what we already do, which is our own habits. Some of them are positive, but many of them are negative. And if we don't have someone showing us a different way of doing things, we will just continue to do things as we already do. Okay? So if we do not find anyone that guides us on the path, we will not develop ourselves on the path. Okay? We will be separated from even the small opportunity to be closer. Furthermore, it depends on the believing faith from our side. Which means our faith is also something very important. It depends also on our faith. If we had no faith, we simply would not receive blessings from the near ones, even if the virtual spiritual friend were the actual Buddha, like in the case of Devadatta and Sadhutara. Which means, if we had no faith at all, even if the one by our side, our spiritual guide, our guru, even if he's the Buddha in person, if we have no faith, we are not able to connect to his qualities, and we are not able to receive the blessings, and then we don't receive the benefits, Like in the case of Devadatta, I don't know who was Sadhutara, but Devadatta was the cousin of Buddha. And he was extremely envious of Buddha since the very beginning. Actually, from what I know of the story, he was Buddha's cousin. And Buddha, when he was the prince, before becoming a Buddha, Prince Siddhartha, from the very beginning, he was not attached at all to power. And he had no real intention to become the king, even though that was what he was supposed to become. While his cousin was very much greedy and he wanted so much power. So what happened is that in order to influence Prince Siddhartha to become more greedy to power and to want more power, his cousin was sent to live together with Siddhartha. But what happened is that by sending him from the place where he was living to live together with Siddhartha, it was taken away from him the possibility to become the number one after his father for Devadatta. Because in the moment that he left the palace where he was living with his father, and he became the number two nearby Siddhartha, his younger brother became the successor of his father in the case of Devadatta. So he was already, he wanted so much power, he could not get the power because he needed to stay nearby Siddhartha. And Siddhartha didn't want the power even, so he was like, Ugh. And he had a very strange relation with Buddha because there was an attraction and aversion relation, because later, when Buddha gave up the palace and he went to live outside and he became the Buddha later, he followed him afterwards and he became a monk. But in all his time, he was not there because of the spiritual path truly, at least that's what it seems. He was always there for making competition with Buddha. So he tried to kill Buddha 5 times. He tried to make his best to make conflicts in the division of the Sangha. He tried to divide the spiritual community into 2 parts. One part following him, another part following Buddha. And he was always into this competition with Buddha. And he did not get the realization, even though he was extremely near to Buddha. Okay? So, even if our guru our spiritual guide is the Buddha in person, if we do not have the faith, we cannot receive the blessings. We cannot connect. It's similar to the fact that if we have someone that have wonderful qualities, but we do not open ourselves to that qualities, we cannot receive the qualities from that person. Okay? So we need to open ourselves to the qualities so we can connect to the qualities of the other. That's why it's important to have faith. So, if we had no faith, we simply would not receive blessings from the near ones, even if the virtual spiritual friend were an actual Buddha, like in the case of Devadatta or Sadhutara. If there were faith and belief from our side, we would receive great blessings even from an ordinary being, like the old woman who saw an apparition of relics from the teeth of a dog. Which means if we have our faith truly there, even if the person is an ordinary being, we can still receive the blessings. It's like the story of this old woman, and she had so much faith in Buddha. And her daughter was one merchant, and he would all the time go to Tibet, from Tibet to India, and travel back and forth, making business between India and Tibet. And she always asked him to bring something holy from India to her. And he would always forget. So at one point, his mother was already quite old, and he promised so much that he would bring something holy for her. And when he was arriving home back from India, he remembered his mother, and he said, "Oh no, I forgot to take something for my mom." So he was so worried that he had promised so many times, and he was so ashamed, that he looked around and he saw one dead dog. And as he saw the corpse of this dog, he had an idea. So he went there, he took out one tooth from the dog, He cleaned it. He put on a beautiful golden box with brocades and so on that he had. And he gave to his mom, saying it was a relic of a Buddha. Okay? And his mom was completely happy. And she worshipped the tooth of the dog as the relic of the Buddha every day. And she had so much faith in it. And there were many stories of this relic bringing so much benefit, actually. Okay? And emanating light and nectar or whatever, and so many special things happened. So this is showing the power of faith. If we truly have faith, even if from the other side there is nothing compared to what we have faith, still we have benefits from faith itself. We can see this, for example, I have seen in Brazil, there are people that manipulate other people spiritually. That say, oh, if you do this, you will get that benefit, but they're only making their own business. It exists. But people have so much faith that they receive the benefit. It works. Even though from the other side, the person is truly manipulating and using the other person's faith for his own personal mundane benefit, but because the person has so much faith, the person receives the benefit. Okay? There is even one small so-called church in Brazil, and they have established one thing which they call, you need to una sfida, come si dice in inglese? You need to challenge Jesus, they say. So how do you challenge Jesus? You say, I have a problem. I lost my job, my son is addicted to drugs, whatever. I have my problem. So I go to Jesus and I say, I give you all the money I have, my whole salary, and you will need to help me. You have no other choice because I gave you everything I have. And then Jesus will have no other choice but helping you, because you gave everything you had. And to whom you give? To me, because I represent Jesus, sure, no? And you have people that have not much, and they take their whole full salary, they take everything they have, they give everything, and they get what they want very often. And then you get the guys that receive, that are building their houses in Miami. Okay? But people have faith, and faith has so much power. It's quite amazing. So sure, when we have faith, and from the other side there is something that is coherent with the faith we have, it's even better. Because also there is the fact, when there is something that has its true own energy also and qualities, it will bring benefit anyhow. For example, if we talk about relics, it's not only a matter of faith. I remember when Lama Ganchen was bringing the relics of Buddha. He brought here to Albagnano and to Milan, and we brought it to Brazil in 2003. And when the relics of Buddha, which were some small pieces of bone of Buddha, which were offered by Thailand, Burma, and Sri Lanka to the United Nations, and before being on the UN headquarters in New York, as they are now, they were taken around to make a tour around the world for blessing. And we took them to Brazil and Italy and some other countries. And at that moment, when we took to Brazil, we went to one guy, his name is Professor Ricardo, and he's known as the first Brazilian Buddhist. And he's a very nice man, a professor and so on. So we went to him and we asked, could you please write an article about the relics of Buddha? And he said, yes, I can write the article, but I do not believe in relics. I think this is totally useless and fake. So just be aware that my article will be coherent with what I believe, So I don't think you may want too much my article. If you want, I write it. So I say, no, thank you, no need your article, but you are still welcome to come when the relics will come. So one day, he arrived in the place where the relics were. It was one of the most incredible experiences I had with the relics in Brazil, anyhow. And what happened was that there he was, in front of the relics, wonderful person. He was not so much, confident with the relics, not at all, as he said, I do not believe in relics and things like that. But when he got in front of the throne where the relics were and so on, and he got near and he put his head down, he started crying and crying like a small child with, how do you call this in English? Singhiozzi. With hiccups, he had hiccups. He was like crying like a little child. And then he went to Lama Ganchen that was by the side, and he hugged Rinpoche so strongly. And then when he was able to talk again, because it was so strong, he looked at Rinpoche. I was nearby, helping to translate at that moment. And he said to Rinpoche, I am extremely grateful to you because you made my dream to come true. I finally met Buddha. So it's like, and then there was another three ladies that they were online for a long time, and then I passed by on the line and they asked, what is this line for? And I said, for the relics of Buddha, and they said, we do not believe in that. And then when they were in front of the relics, they completely melted down, and they came thanking me, saying it was so beneficial and so on. So there are things and people that have such great qualities that can touch other people, even if they don't believe right away. But these people they do not have faith, but they are open. There are people that are completely closed. And when people are completely closed, it doesn't matter. Whatever is there, they are not able to connect with it. Okay? So, continuing as it says, as long as we have faith, it is certain that the blessings will come. However, in order to cultivate the entire path in one's continuum, the virtual spiritual friend also cannot be just anybody who is available. He or she has to be someone competent who can lead us along the entire path. I think when a disciple with the vessel of faith and belief follows the correct way of relying on a qualified guru, it is certain that he or she will quickly attain Buddhahood. So, faith is important, but faith alone is not enough. Okay? On the other side, because even though I have faith, I must have someone that can guide me correctly. It's not just someone, whoever is there, that can guide me. So normally, when we look for the guru, he must have minimum 10 qualities. Lagana. Kyabje Dechen Nyingpo Lamrim. Lamrim turma. Kesan chungso, tijanam chepedu chungso. Chabedi chungso. Na chuna ngazo pyu chugure. Twa lagle marja nyingi turma. Kyabje Dechen Nyingpo sungre. Hane de chitsadro ne lamsama chela chargi. Lama Lawan sta ringraziando perché lui insieme con Geshe Chanchup, Tenzin e altri hanno appena concluso un ritiro e l'abbiamo ospitato qui al centro per fare ritiro, offrendo ovviamente la casa, il cibo e tutto quello che era necessario. Hanno appena concluso il ritiro, quindi oggi offrono il pranzo a tutti per ringraziare di aver fatto il ritiro qui da noi. E quindi questo erano venuti qua per ringraziare. So Lama Lawan, they have concluded their retreat. Lama Lawan, Geshe Chanchup, Tenzin and Lagen and Matthias was also there. So they concluded the retreat successfully. So they are thanking the center for the retreat because we offered them the place to stay, the food and all whatever was necessary. So they're offering lunch to everybody today in order to thank for this opportunity they had of doing the retreat here. We thank them for doing retreat here, but they are thanking us for that. That's what Okay, so just to conclude, as lunch is waiting for us, as Pabongkha Rinpoche puts very clearly, we need a guru on our path. We need faith from our side. But we cannot just have faith on anyone. It's not just choose anyone from the roll and say, here you are. At the same time, even though may not be the most perfect guru, if we have the correct faith, we can connect to the qualities and we can receive the benefits also. So normally, when we go to look for the guru, we need to look someone that has at least 10 qualities, because we are talking about the Mahayana path, okay? Which are the minimum quality that we should look in a guru is to have more qualities than us spiritually, okay? But normally the qualities that we should look, it should be someone that has morality, that has concentration, and has wisdom. Someone that has a good understanding of Buddha's teachings and can guide us correctly, can explain it to us and can guide us on these teachings, can transmit it to us in a clear way. Someone that has an understanding of emptiness, of the correct view of reality, and can explain to us the correct view of reality correctly. Someone that has love towards us and is not going to give up love on us. It's very important that this person that guides our spiritual guide must be someone that has a relation of love towards us also. There is a person must have the minimum quality of having more qualities that we do. At the same time, must be coherent between what he or she teaches and practice, and must put effort in his own practice of the Dharma. Okay? So, in other words, is someone that has qualities, has human qualities that we want to develop. Is someone that has the knowledge of Buddha teachings, that is transmitting this knowledge. Is someone that has a relation of love towards us. It's like I happened to me one time in Tibet, I was receiving teachings about Tibetan medicine. But the person teaching me, even though I have great respect for this person, had, from my perception, had no any attitude of love towards me in the way of teaching. So I had 2 lessons and then I said, okay, thank you. It didn't go on, because there is not the joy of teaching, because there is no that, love. So this is fundamental to be love in between. And then must have more qualities that I do. But so we need to go and we need to look for the correct teacher. But the main point arriving here is that how much is important for us to have someone that guides us on our path. And it's showing us that we can have many different people that can guide us on the path. We can have our main guru, but we can learn from many people. We can learn from many situations, but we need to be open for that. We need to be open for learning, for receiving, and we need to have our faith. Faith is something that is beneficial for us. Faith means to believe in the existence, in the qualities, and in the potential of something. I have faith in water. I believe that water exists. I believe that water is clean, clear, pure, and then it has the potential of eliminating my thirst. I have faith in water. I have faith in the Guru. The Guru exists. Here he is as my Guru. He has many qualities of all his wisdom and compassion, and he's inseparable from all the Buddhas and so on and so on. He has many, many qualities. And he has the ability of guiding me correctly on the path to enlightenment. So this means to have faith on the Guru. Okay? So, on this sense, it's something that we need to cultivate. It's not something that is coming automatically, and it's something that we will develop as we go along the path. Okay? I think it's quite clear, right? So we'll stop here, and we'll continue after lunch. At 3:30, we'll continue a little bit with the text of the Lamrim, and then with self-healing together. Okay? Jetson lame kotse rapten chi namkar tinle chochur gepadang losan tempe drome sasumgi drove munsel tatu ne gyur chi nimo dele tsendele nime kuyan delek shin ninsen takto delek pe Concho sumke jingi lob, concho sumke ngodrup sol, Koncho sumge trashi shon. At dawn or dusk, at night or midday, may the three jewels grant us their blessings. May they help us to achieve all realizations and sprinkle the path of our lives with various signs of auspiciousness.